The SADC Organ Troika Summit on Politics, Defense and Security is a vital regional governance structure that handles peace, conflict resolution and political stability across Southern African Development Community SADC member states. Top of the agenda at the SADC Summit will be the issue of migration in the region. SABC News Specialist Correspondent has more from this in Durban, Sophie Mokoena. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you so much. We are coming live here today.
Sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to get a sense of what you have managed to uncover on your end.
Thank you so much. We are coming live here at Chief Albert Lutuli International Convention Center, where the leaders of the region, that is the Southern African region community, will be converging tomorrow at the Summit of Heads of State and Government. But today, you are correct, the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security is supposed to meet here at the Convention Center. You know that the Troika consists of countries such as Malawi, that is the current chair. You have Tanzania, the outgoing chair, and you have Eswatini, the incoming chair of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security. We know that the organ is quite important because this is the institution that is supposed to ensure that there's peace, there's security and there's stability in the region. You cannot achieve development when your region, your countries, your continent, your world is not stable. And therefore, the organ takes care of such issues. And where there's a necessity to intervene, they do that. We saw that happening, you'd recall, with the challenge in the eastern part of the DRC, the deployment of troops there. You know that in the region of Cabo Delgado, Mozambique, we saw deployment of SADC contingent there that was part of the intervention. Earlier years, we saw the deployment of troops in the Mountain Kingdom in Lesotho. That is why the organ is so important. It comes at a time where you still have challenges in the eastern part of the DRC. The issue of Cabo Delgado, much as it has been resolved, but you still have pockets of attacks there by the insurgents. And also you have to look at the factors that are likely going to lead to instability. When you look at Zambia currently, we saw what happened in that country during election day. Even though now they have been able to manage the situation, counting continued, and we are waiting for the Electoral Commission of Zambia to announce the results. You know that the president of Zambia is not here because of the elections, and therefore it is quite important for Organ to already look at that situation. And what is even more important with Zambia is that Zambia is the incoming chair of SADC. South Africa will hand over to Zambia next year to lead this regional community. On the issue of migration, you are correct. It is one of the important issues, but you have countries that are pushing back, who are saying it should not be on the agenda, but South Africa or anyone else can raise it during the summit, but not officially on the agenda of the summit. Those countries are Mozambique and Zimbabwe. But leaders have started arriving, and the borders of South Africa are quite busy. With me, I have the head of the Border Management Authority, the doctor here, to talk to us about the movements thus far in terms of leaders. Doc, thank you so much for your time. It has been a busy week and days for your department because movement, people coming to the region didn't start today or tomorrow. People came in, officials, to prepare and all of that. Are you managing?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Madam Sophie. Yes, yeah, we have been busy as the Border Management Authority and, of course, working together with the rest of the ecosystem under the broader leadership of the NAT joints. From a border management perspective, we have been hard at work in the past week or so, mainly being able to receive all of the various ministers that has been coming through for the various meetings that has been taking place here at the ICC. And up to this point, everything has been going well. So this time, we are very much busy as we speak in terms of receiving the heads of state. I think you will fairly be aware that since yesterday, we have started to see some of those arriving. We have seen the Prime Minister from Seychelles arriving yesterday. We have seen the President of Botswana arriving yesterday, together with the King from Eswatini arrived yesterday. So this morning, we just also received the President of Mozambique. And as we speak now in the afternoon, there will be the President from Namibia, as well as that from Zimbabwe that will be coming through. And as you have indicated, the President of Zambia is not going to be coming through.
Quite an important role that you play. People might think that it's quite easy. Take us through what happens when they arrive.
Yeah, you see, it's a very complicated process that we fairly deal with, and that is why in this kind of events, we basically set up a VOC, which is a venue operational center. In this instance, the NAT joints will be driving the one that is here at the ICC. But from a border management perspective, we also have the one that we do at a port of entry. In this instance, we've actually set up one at Kinshasa International Airport for this particular instance. And of course, you will be aware that because there are certain countries where they don't necessarily are able to fly directly here to Kinshasa, there will be some that will fly to OR Tambo. So, but it's very little of those. The majority are coming down here directly. So what basically happens when it comes to the heads of state, as you will be aware, it is a very complicated, I would say, diplomatic process, wherein a head of state, as they arrive, obviously they are actually treated differently. Number one, we make sure that they get assessed as the first point in terms of health. So we screen them, but of course we use machinery as well as devices that they are not even able to see. So we don't necessarily take the device into their forehead to pick up their temperature for infectious diseases. We do that in a very serious distance and all of that. After we have done that, then obviously they will be taken through into their vehicles and then they exit. Then the rest of the other delegation, we process them normally. And in that instance, we do the entire work in terms of immigration, port health, environmental and agricultural biosecurity. All their bags are searched through our sniffer dogs to make sure that they don't bring anything agricultural and otherwise which is not required. But more importantly, we work with DERCO to make sure that we tell them what are the things that they're allowed to bring in the country and what are the things that they're not supposed to bring in the country. And up to this point, everything had gone well. There hasn't been any challenge.
Thank you so much, Doc. That was the head of the Border Management Authority, the man who takes care of people coming in and out of the country. We didn't have enough time. I would have wanted to speak to him about just to look at the movement of people since the start of the deportations, but he's around here and we will be able to get that. Just to remind you that leaders who are not attending is the president of the DRC because he's on a visit in Tanzania. Obviously, the host Tanzania is not coming. You also have Malawi, the current chair of the Troika, the man who's supposed to chair this meeting of the Troika here, who has to hand over to King of Eswatini, King Mswati. And also you have Zambia not coming because of the elections. Nothing bad there. It's just that you know that when a country is going through elections, you dissolve cabinet, and therefore the ministers cease to be ministers, and therefore you can't be traveling as a head of state. You have to deal with election matters. But I think we are looking forward to see the arrival of the president of Namibia and also the president of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, because he is going to hand over to President Ramaphosa tomorrow to do those formalities, because you know Madagascar, that was supposed to be the chair currently, South Africa had to step in after that coup in Madagascar.